The fight has started for votes. Malema has spoken on Andile Ngzidima in Johannesburg. Black First Land First leader Andile Ngzidima did not only meet with the Guptas, he also received an instruction to write an article about BizNews editor Alec Hogg on their behalf. This has been revealed in the Gupta leaks, which shows that Ngzidima met with Gupta Lieutenant Santosh Chubey in February 2016 and that he asked the family for funding around the same time. Ngzidima has denied receiving any money from the Guptas despite aggressively defending them. Gupta leaks collaborative investigation. A new email has been discovered that suggests Ngzidima did more than just meet the Guptas, that he actually received instructions from the family and that his free voice may, at least once, have been steered by London PR firm Bell Pottinger and the Guptas. In the trove of emails that form part of the leaks there is an email address, teamdia2016@gmail.com, which is also known as Media Profile. The address seems to be a shared account where Bell Pottinger, the Guptas, and staff including Chubey discussed their media campaigns. It was from this email account that Ngzidima was sent a message on March 11, 2016. The email was titled Peter Bruce, and it included an attachment of an opinion article written by Bruce, the Tissot Blackstar editor-at-large. The opinion piece was based on a legal letter the Guptas had sent to Hogg. Hogg published the letter sent to him by London-based reputation and privacy consultancy Shillings on his online site. Bruce weighed in on what was seemingly a legal letter from Shillings, saying it showed the Guptas were anxious, but their move was sure to backfire because Hogg was no pushover. Businessmen would help fund a defamation claim for Hogg and it will intensify efforts to prove Gupta/Zuma links the London lawyers say don't exist. He also said a trial will open opportunities to discover what the Guptas had been up to. In the body of the email, the author of Team Media asks Ngzidima, PLSC, and the part where he writes about Alex, sick, Hogg funders, can you write on this something and send some questions to him, for source of funding, legal/illegal, who are the funders? Thanks. The email appears to be an instruction to Ngzidima to write about Hogg and to send him questions. According to the release, the ANC under current President Cyril Ramaphosa is not included in what the BLF refers to as black parties. This is because the ANC under Ramaphosa are unashamed agents of white monopoly capital, according to the party. The ANC chooses to stand with Johan Rupert as he calls for black-on-black violence, the release continues. The ANC yesterday slammed the BLF for divisive comments that it said harkened back to the apartheid era. Rupert recently made comments in his recent, controversial interview with Given Gary on Power FM about how, if the EFF came after him he would mobilize members of the taxi industry against the party. I also have my own army. Those red guys, they've got to go and remember the taxi association, Rupert said in the interview. The betrayal of the struggle, ANC, EFF, and VBS Bank. Ngugi wa Thiong'o, in his novel The Grain of Wheat, as well as other luminaries, narrate the socio-political African chronology and social sciences through novel reconstructions. The permeating theme is as follows: Africa was colonized by the white Europeans. At a later stage, the African states won political independence from the Western rulers. All these events culminated in native revolutionary political parties taking over political power in chartering a way forward for their people. A grim scene follows. Pursuant to the purported demise of white power in these countries, the new black leadership becomes the modern bourgeoisie. Instead of the Bible, which is argued to be the bedrock upon which Africa was conquered, the politic-religious gospel under African political leadership is Thixo Ubawo, Thixo Uniana, Thixo Umoya no Thixo Isisu, God, the Father, the Son, the Spirit, and the stomach. Ignoring the cynicism of the adage, the base principle contained therein, as argued in these novels, and other social science literature, remains true and relevant. Contemporary African politics are littered with selfing leadership with an inflated sense of rewarding itself for the years of toil in attaining liberation for the native people. Novels, by definition, are exactly that, figments and productions of its author's artistry and creativity. Regrettably, however, Such imaginative creativity is founded on and reflects modern African politics, and in particular, South African politics. The ANC has failed dismally in its lofty goals, crisply reflected in the Freedom Charter. The land remains in the hands of those who are light in skin tone. They own the financial systems, and the larger populace, who are darker in skin tone, remain in squalor with limited access to the means of production. These means of production, Adam Smith would tell us, are the essentials of the libertarian economic freedom. I deal with the EFF also dramatis personae in this scandal later. The socio-psychology theory of post-colonial politics holds as follows. Once the freedom liberators gain access to the table of the master, they will feast and fill their stomachs first. Once full, they will feed those that don't have access to the table. Stomach first, liberation later. It explains the phenomenon of economic success of the incumbent president, Cyril Ramaphosa. Not every black person can own a beast worth R18M. This is for two reasons. The first is that not everyone can afford one. The second is petty. Who wants to buy a gout-inducing asset? The incumbent president's luxury is a microcosmic lens through which we can understand the theme of model black political bourgeoisie. Stomach first, liberation after. It gets worse for the marginalist blacks. We have a system of majoritarian political rule. Simply put, and drawing from the Socratic and Athenian principles of political governance, the people shall vote into political power individuals who will best represent the aspirations of the majority of the population. The assumption is that such elected persons will enact and execute laws that will advance the interests of the majority. To use the most obvious example, there is little debate that the majority of the population wants expropriation of land without compensation. But this need has been and continues to be used by the political black elite to further exploit the majority. Instead of reflecting the call for land redress through legislation and relevant laws, they use it as a carrot to attract us, the donkeys, to vote for them. Why did SASA under the stewardship of Bathobile Dlamini spend more on capitalist service providers than on the interests of the poor it purported to serve? Why did the state under the stewardship of Gujal Nkwinti spend close to R1BN on Mela Mela to redress land that we all understand to be unjustly resting in white hands? This is even harder to comprehend given the instructive judgment of Nkakaido Baj in Missize v Director General for the Rural Development and Land Reform. Black First Land First, BLF, members Emasam Pemniama has distanced herself from a series of manufactured tweets in her name lashing out at the EFF and claiming protesters were paid R1M to cause a race riot on Clifton 4th Beach. Here are the other tweets which were manufactured. I never wrote these tweets. Right-wingers shared these pictures after they got my account suspended to tarnish mine and BLF's name. I would never use the term race riots, plus I know how to spell slaughtering, thank you very much. State Capture Inquiry, EFF, BLF refused to stand together against Gordhan. November 19, 2018, 12:07. Attitudes towards former President Jacob Zuma on Monday divided two anti-Pravin Gordhan pickets during his much-awaited testimony at the Judicial Commission of Inquiry into State Capture. Vociferous groups of protesters from the Economic Freedom Fighters, EFF, and the Black First Land First, BLF, movement gathered outside the Commission of Inquiry into State Capture in Parktown, Johannesburg, calling for the Public Enterprises Minister to resign. Despite having the same objective, they faced off in two separate camps. EFF Gauteng's Moshkoma said they could not picket with BLF, as it had protected an allegedly corrupt Zuma. This very same BLF was supporting Zuma all along, they are just using the platform to seek relevance, Mosh said. Ngzidama took to Twitter to post a video asking Malema to give back R10000 he had given him to register his party 4 years ago. This follows claims made by the President's Keepers author Jacques Pau about links between the EFF and controversial businessman Adriano Matsati. It's been alleged that Matsati is a dealer in the underground counterfeit cigarettes trade and gave the FR 200000 to help it register for the 2014 elections. It's also alleged that he gave Malema millions to settle his SARS tax bill. Who is captured more? ANC equals fraud tenders B. EFF equals VBS Bank. BLF equals Gupta's and England puppet. The fight will end after the votes or not.